So I think I threw away my microwave. I think I still was using one a little bit in university. I think I remember having, I mean, I lived with roommates, so I know there was one. But then once I started living on my own, I never bought one. I knew from the Russian studies, which I'm actually having a hard time finding right now because it seems like our internet realm is being scrubbed slowly and slowly away. Like things I used to find easily when I search are harder and harder to find now. Anyone else noticing that? So I can't seem to find the good original Russian studies that were done on microwaves. They're very good and they're very detailed. I can't find the original studies anymore. I thought I saved them. I probably saved them on a really old computer. I know I have them somewhere. Okay, so Russian studies proved many moons ago, and apparently in Russia they're banned. They're not even allowed. Microwaves aren't even allowed there because they have non-ionizing radiation and they lead to all kinds of diseases. They cause retinal diseases. So just by like being near it, like if you had a leaky oven, you actually can get eye diseases. You can get retinal diseases, the cataracts, for example. Okay, so that was one of them, and those studies have been reproduced, and like you can find those in America. That particular one, I think I have a link to that. Okay, so just from being near it, like my mom used to joke, she's like, "Don't get too close to that, or your nose will fall off." And I'm laughing now because it's like you kind of actually were right. You know, like my nose could have fallen off. Like if that seal was leaky, I could have got nose cancer, and then my nose could have fallen off. So it's actually what's kind of correct. Mother's wisdom, eh? So there's issues with leakiness and exposure from the radiation itself, which is super high levels of radiation. But okay, the main thing, so I want to talk about the cis and trans again. Remember we were talking about how there's these two different kinds of bonds, James bonds? No, that's bad joke. Okay, there were studies, lots of different studies done. Of course, the industry, again, they're going to always try to bury the truth, right? So it's really hard because there's always going to be spin on a lot of this stuff. So you really have to trust your instincts, and you have to really learn to separate the wheat from the chaff on this information. Like, oh yeah, who funded this thing? Oh yeah, them, microwave companies. We can't trust that study. Let's go to an independent source and see what they found out. Okay, so microwaves have frequencies ranging anywhere between 300 million cycles per second, which is 300 megahertz, to 3 gigahertz. Okay, so then they have these specific absorption rates. And so it'll tell you the rate that your tissue will absorb those kilowatt or those watts per kilogram of tissue. And then they'll tell you about, like, there's an upper limit of SARs that you can have. That's really how industry does it. They make all these their own lingo, their own language. If you watch my vaccine talk about the cult of vaccines, I talk about how cults work. They make their own language so that you kind of don't understand what they're talking about, but it sounds good enough, you know? So it's kind of like cult language. So microwave radiation leakage damages cells and tissues. So if you're like a chef and you're working in a kitchen, you're always opening and closing that microwave, you're actually exposing yourself. A lot of people, they don't stop it, they just open it. So they're getting a blast every time they do it. They're getting like a 60 hertz each time, and that adds up in the body. So it's quite serious, and even the FDA kind of cares about you here. It's a little, like they kind of have to, I guess. Somebody forced them to. So they do have a strict limit for manufacturers on the seals, on the door seals, but old microwaves have crappy door seals. So that's a big deal. So if you have one in your house and it's old, you know, it's been used a lot, you know, you don't know that the seal's not really fully functioning, and you're exposing yourself or your children to these like billions of hertz, basically. So frequency shown to start harming the human body is just over 10 hertz. It's not a lot. It's not that big. It's not that big to show damage. So that's 2.45 billion hertz is the frequency inside your microwave versus 10 hertz, which can hurt you. You see? So a little leak is a big leak, okay? All right, so check your doors. Actually, chuck the thing. Don't just check your door seals. I'll check your door seals if you can't chuck the thing, if it's an industry issue. Otherwise, bye-bye. Go take it to the dump.